Hello students. In the chapter The Definition of Economics, today we are going to discuss the last part of the chapter, that is the growth oriented definition of economics and the meaning of micro and macroeconomics. As we discussed earlier, that several definitions are provided by different economists, like Adam Smith provide wealth oriented definition, Alfred Marshall the welfare, and Robbins provides scarcity definition. But all the definitions suffers from loophole. The well accepted definition is provided by Paul Samuelson, which is known as the growth oriented definition. According to Paul Samuelson, economics is the study of how people and society choose with or without use of money to employ the scarce productive resources which have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for the consumption of now as well as for in the future among various people and the groups in the society. Thus, this definition have a broader view and have a dynamic approach. Let us now consider the main features of this definition. As we discussed, that this definition is widely accepted among different economists on the ground that it emphasizes on economic problems and give the realistic explanations of these economic problems. It also have the long-term perspective of economic problems. Samuelson has adopted a dynamic approach to the study of economics by taking economic growth as an integral part of economics. It also broadened the subject matter of economics so as to include consumption, production, exchange, distribution, economic growth, etc. Samuelson definition is not only dynamic in content but it is also wider in scope. This definition emphasizes that the problem of resource allocation is a universal problem for both the barter economy and for the money using exchange economies. Let us now discuss the subject matter of the economics. Economics is generally have two branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. As the name suggests, micro means small and macro means big. Microeconomics is defined as the study of economic behavior of individual economic units and individual economic variables. Thus, it deals with the single or individual units, whereas macroeconomics deals with the economy as a whole. Let us consider few differences between micro and macroeconomics. If we differentiate between micro and macro, first we have to discuss it with the unit of study. As we discussed that individual economic units are discussed in the microeconomics, whereas the macroeconomics deals with the whole of the nation or as a whole. The focus of the study of microeconomics is the individual market, whereas the focus study of macroeconomics is aggregate employment, national income, aggregate consumption, economic growth, etc. Price is the basic parameter of microeconomics, whereas national income is the basic parameter of macroeconomics. If we consider the methods of study, the microeconomics uses the technique of partial equilibrium analysis, whereas the macroeconomics uses the technique of quasi-general equilibrium analysis. Micro and macroeconomics differ from each other on the basis of the nature of assumptions. Macroeconomics assume that total output, income, employment, general price level, etc., all are given, whereas macroeconomics assume that allocation of resources, distribution of output, spending on particular goods and services, etc., all these are given. But though the sub micro and micro are differentiated with respect to the view of study scope nature, but both these are interdependent, so we cannot choose any one because all the segments